it would be kind of like a pub, a place where people gather.
Mm-hmm.
Then the scene shifts to now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a time thing. This is obviously something that happened a while back. And I'm sitting talking to Tom Robbins, who is my favorite author. And we're having this I'm just sitting right next to him, we're on like a bench together and we're talking these faces in this dream. I just see him there. And looking like photos that I've seen of him. And I say, hey, do you remember, I said, this may surprise you, but we actually met about a year ago. Do you remember when a man who was a doctor and a young black kid and I all came up to this place and we met you there and said hello? And I said it was in England, it was about a year ago. And he says that he remembers that. I said, yeah, he was a tall guy, distinguished, he was a doctor, we met at the center. I described the place and he remembered that we'd met. Let me just try and read what I wrote here this morning. Yeah, that we'd met we first met while traveling in the UK in the summer. Okay. And then all of a sudden I realize in the dream that I'm talking to my favorite author. And what happens to me is I realize that this is my moment when I can ask him if I could show him something that I've been writing. And there's this kind of dawning like, oh my God, this is my chance here. So I tell him about this novel that I have a third of the way finished and this body of music that I've composed that also relates to it.
Do that last part again?
So I tell him about this novel that I've...
1/3 through.
Yeah, and the body of music that I've also written, that I have. And I actually start to cry because it feels so... it all feels so present and like exactly where I want to be or exactly what I want to be doing. It's just something that rings so true and I'm crying, which tends to be what happens to me when those moments happen. So finally I asked him if he would look at it, have a look at what I've written. And he says, well, I don't have TV connections to the TV industry. And I say, I'm resolved not to try and sell myself, I say, well, I'm resolved not to try and sell myself, and he's looking at me and I wake up.
I'm resolved enough to sell myself.
I'm resolved not to sell myself, not to try to sell myself.
And you wake up.
He looks at me and I wake up.
And he looks at you with what?
He looks at me, I'm looking at him, and I wake up.
And what look does he have?
He has a look like, what do you mean? Maybe. Yeah, he's kind of questioning what that last statement was. And my immediate feeling in waking up here was similar to the dream I had where you and I were in this class together.
Mm-hmm.
It was identical to that kind of moment. And I was showing you my transcripts from school, and you were saying, well, I see that you've gotten some failures. And I quickly tried to say, yes, I've really made a lot of mistakes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And after we did that whole dream process, you said to me, what if that's your greatest kind of hang-up in having breakthroughs? And that's what this felt like too. I was right there present with this person and somehow went into this process of oddly shutting it down for me, kind of denying something.
At the point of saying, I am resolved?
Yeah, something in there was felt when I woke up. It was this little self-loathing thing that I've dealt with most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was frustrated, but I also then realized, God, waking up at that point was the perfect thing to say what I'm struggling with also.
Just put that in other words.
By waking up at that point, it really seemed to me that it left me really looking at this process that I put in the middle of what I want to do the most, all the time. Or have,
What would you call it?
or
Yeah.
have unconsciously in the past.
Okay, what would you call it?
I would call it,
Or what is it doing? Or what would you call it?
it's a kind of self-degradation. It's a sort of that I'm not good enough, I can't do this, it's not okay for me to follow my heart's dreams all the way down the line. There's something wrong or bad about that. It's a belief that that's not okay.
Okay.
And I'm not okay when I do it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And
Now,
that was real strong.
this is the first one, then.
That was the first.
In terms of time,
That was
this is Tuesday.
That was Monday,
Pardon me, Monday.
and then the Tom Robbins was this morning.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good, let's do the Monday. All right. I always like dreams that have this aspect to it, because you said you saw the plane going up and coming down. Right? Where were you then in the dream?
I was somewhere down on the hillside looking up.
Right, somewhere.
Yeah.
Right, somewhere. Not positioned in terms of anything else.
No.
Right. So you're there, right? But where you are there is not clear in terms of the story. You're just aware of the fact that it's going up and it's going down. But you don't have any particular place.
No.
Though you are present in that respect because you're making observations. Right. Same thing for the first part?
Yes.
At the farmhouse?
Yeah.
Talk about the farmhouse.
It seemed really like a very idyllic kind of place that I would love to have as a home, or have as a place to have a family. It felt very restful and like a very good place to write or do creative work. To have a family that was, something felt safe about it. It's very beautiful.
Talk about the man, the inventor.
The inventor seemed beloved of his children.
Manner, style.
I just keep getting, he was confident. He was.
Any physical appearance, anything like anyone?
Not that I recall.
So as far as you know, it's unknown.
Yeah.
Well, that is to say, can't identify with that figure being like anyone else.
No.
Right?
No, I just.
That has the same kind of feature. It's kind of. And, all right,
Yeah, that's
good.
true.
Good. And he takes off.
Yeah.
And you wake up. You go back to sleep. And you pick it up. Right? And when you see it going up, any state of mind, any thought, images, feeling stage?
A sense that there's, yeah, because there's one point where I was seeing it flying from behind it, sort of at air level, and it seemed like the hang glider part of it, something very organic about it was working at that time, almost as if it could morph into things. And my sense was how beautiful this thing is. It's working so well, and it's so natural in how it's flying.